7:05. It's the Nielsen Show on a Will Smith Wednesday. Only the best of Will Smith, the cleanest rapper of all time. -4 right now. We're looking at a high of 7 for today. The Nielsen Show is brought to you by A&W. Hashtag bring back the whistle dog.
Sans relish.
Jabari Greer, NFL analyst. He's going to be by around 7:45 today. We've got a few more of your text messages. Another great story about one of you, our AM nasties. We'll get to that in a little bit around 7:30 today. We've got those soccer tickets that we're going to give away. We've got Beat the Box Office tickets for Dierks Bentley. We're going to open up the Old Country Saloon door for that. We'll go there sometime before 10 o'clock. We got a game to set up tonight with the Oilers and the Preds. She's a busy one. So busy that Mike Johnson requested coming on Wednesday instead of Friday because he knew it was going to be a busy show. Actually, no. Noodles was working the Sens Minnesota game last night, which Minnesota actually ended up winning, which was part of my 3-game parlay last night. Cha-ching! I think I saw on TSN they were calling our next guest here, Mike Johnson, Mystic Mike, because he hit on 3 bets last night as well. Let's bring in Mike this morning. MJ, welcome back to the show. How are you, buddy?
I'm very well. Happy to be part of Will Smith Hump Wednesday, whatever we're going to go with. And, yeah, absolutely. And listen, I'll take the wins when I get them. I went 3 for 3 last night in my projections, and they don't always go that way, so we're happy when they do.
I know. I like to brag about my victories as well, but I don't talk about many of the losses, so that's nice to see. But, yeah, you were on, Austin Matthews last night, the Leafs winning. They came through for you finally.
Well, they did, and I think like the Austin Matthews one. Well, when you look at Vegas's roster,
yeah,
and Vegas, everyone thought would likely win the Pacific along with Edmonton. They would be 1-2, but when you're missing 3, 4, 5, 6 important players, there's really no team that can withstand that many injuries, and their roster, their forward group at this point is just not threatening. And so I like Toronto to win the game, but more than that, Austin Matthews, who hadn't scored very much, hadn't shot very much, had spent about 3 days talking to the Toronto media about how he was still feeling a little bit rusty with his wrist. He wasn't quite on point, had to get more shots at net. And you're like, okay, well, if that's his mentality going in against a team that's depleted, when you know you're going to try to get on track, I'm expecting a lot of shots there. So, yeah, he came through, and the Leafs had, I guess, one of their better games of the year, even if it's against a short-staffed opponent.
You got the Florida Panthers. They sit 8-0-1 through 9 games. The Carolina Hurricanes are a perfect 8 for 8. St. Louis is 6-1. Calgary Flames losing last night to Nashville, who's coming up here tonight. They're 6-1-2 on the year. And then the Edmonton Oilers, in 8 games, have won 7 of them. They've got 14 points. Are you buying into what the Oilers are selling right now? Do you view them as a contender here in the early part of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to like about what Edmonton has done so far this year. I mean, I think you go with what we knew was going to be the case. We knew McDavid would be really good. We knew Draisaitl would be really good. We knew that if they played together or apart, it was going to work. We knew the power play would be really good. I think those were the known commodities. I think that was, and that alone was enough to have people thinking, okay, they're going to be one of the better teams Pacific. But the question marks were, how will Mike Smith be? And if he happens to not be able to play, what will Koskinen be like in the backup? And that has been asked and answered so far by Koskinen being really quite good when Mike Smith's gone down. So that's great news. The other part, and the only part of the question that I still might want to see answered, is the depth up front. That's been great. I think the Ryan, Cassie, and Fogle line has changed the way that you play against Edmonton, the production they have, the way that they can tilt the ice and generate shots and chances and goals, unlike depth the third line could in years past. Mm-hmm. That's great. It's been good so far, but I still am, jury's out on the depth defensemen. Second pair, Ceci and Keith, they've had some good moments, some not as good moments. And the third pair, just when they get to the toughest opponents, will those guys hold up? They have clearly so far, but that's the last maybe hurdle for them to clear, for me to say, yes, absolutely, they are one of the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the league, are a Stanley Cup contender, but they're right there anyways because of all those other stuff we talked about. They're really good. And that power play, I'm sorry, it is ridiculous. I try to watch it as an analyst and think about, okay, how would I try to kill off this power play? What would I be doing? What routes would I take? Where would I pressure? How would I try to make it work? And it's hard to come up with answers. I watched them playing games where teams do a lot of the right things against them, and they snap it around anyways and create a good chance. It's incredible what they are able to do with all the scouting, everything else. It's one of the best we've seen in years. I don't know if it's going to be ever, but it's pretty close right now.
Well, I think it definitely has the potential to be ever. I mean, you need to keep rolling for sure, but it's weird because I might be exaggerating on this, but I actually might not. I don't know if they've had a power play this year where they've actually had trouble getting set up and start to fire that puck around the zone. Like there's no issue. I mean, when they get the puck in the power play, they skate it into the zone, they set up, and they just attack the entire time. And it's just got to be draining for a penalty kill to see that coming at you every single time. Like there's no hiccups along the way. It's been ridiculous.
Yeah, you're right, because the penalty kill's best friend are what? Face-offs, where you can win the face-off and get it clear. And then, okay, let's make it hard for them to get in the zone. We scramble it up. We get another clear. Well, when you have Draisaitl and McDavid able to skate it in, get set up, you don't get that initial pressure and clear. And then I think I pinpoint, we know how great McDavid and Draisaitl are together. We understand that, and Tyson Barrie does a great job up top. But I think the real connector of it all is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Like, he has got such a perfect feel in that bumper spot in the middle, when to be up high, down low, pressure relief valve, passing. Like, he just connects it all whenever they are pressured. You think, okay, now's a chance he might be able to jump on them. It's a pop in a Nugent-Hopkins. He kicks it out somewhere else, and here we go again, and they start attacking downhill, and it's a nightmare. It is, I mean, it's fun to watch and would be very unpleasant to play again.
NHL analyst Mike Johnson with us here on the Nielsen Show this morning. They do get the Nashville Predators tonight, second half of a back-to-back here. They get the overtime win against the Flames last night. Maybe we'll get into the Flames here in a second as well. But what should we expect from this Nashville Predators team? Do we just view them as your typical Nashville Predators team?
Well, I mean, I think one of their greatest strengths, you probably won't see him tonight, is UC Saros. I mean, this guy, even last year, should have been more prominent in the Vezina discussion. That's how good he was last year. And he's, they've gone from Pekka Rinne, who was a world-class goalie, right into UC Saros. So they have that strength in net. Roman Josi is still one of the greatest facilitators, puck transporters on defense. The question's always been, well, who's going to score for Nashville? Yeah. They have all these, they have big-name players, Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene and Ryan Johansson, and guys who get paid well, but they just haven't been able to be healthy or be productive. So if they are, they can play with some pace. They have some skill there, but they're kind of a middling team with really good names. That's what they are right now, and I think they've played that way through 9 games. They'll probably play that way through the next 72.
And they got it done against Calgary last night, as I mentioned, stopping a little bit of a run here for the Calgary Flames that included a 5-game road trip that had a 4-3 win in overtime against Washington. They put up 5 on the Rangers. They put up 5 on the Devils. They put up 4 on the Penguins. And they put up 4 more on the Flyers. And Markstrom's been terrific all along the way. I mean, the guy's been absolutely lights out. But how about Calgary generating this offense? Who or what has been the key to that?
So I think there's a real misconception about Daryl Sutter and his ability to coach and how he coaches. Like, he's this grinding, slow, methodical defensive coach. And what he's done with Calgary is he's taken them in an area where they were not great, which is generating off the rush, and he's turned them into one of the best rush teams, both offensively and defensively. And that is the biggest change, and I put that almost solely on coaching because it's so many of the same bodies around, and yet now all of a sudden they're a top 5 team in chances off the rush. And they're also a top 5 team in defending chances off the rush. And if you do that, you give couple with great goaltending, you give yourself a great chance to win every game, because that's how the easiest offense is created, is off the rush. It's hard to do it off the cycle all the time. And unless you're Edmonton, it's hard to do on the power play all the time. So I think that's been the biggest change for this group. And now all of a sudden, Lindholm and Mangiapane and Gaudreau's playing very well, and Kachuk's coming along, and all their forwards look really good again because they're playing a style that highlights their skill set. And I give a lot of the credit, which I am loath to do, to the coach.
Mike, before I let you go, I got to run a little scenario by I'm facing tonight. It's a 6:30 start tonight, and we don't get very many early-ish starts here. So I told my 6-year-old boy that I'd take him to the game. He's got hockey at like 4 o'clock, and I told him, you know what? After skating tonight, we'll go to the game. So he's fired up about it. His bedtime is usually like 7:30. He's got grade 1 tomorrow. I told my wife that, we'll only stay for a couple periods. I'll have him home by 8:30. He can still be in bed. It won't be the end of the world. But people are ripping me this morning in the inbox saying, Dusty, you can't take this kid to the game. And then, if it's a good hockey game, take him away at the end of the second. And he's going to miss the third period. So do I just deal with the heat when I get home and we stay the entire game? Or should I leave after 2 like I promised? What should we do here?
Well, as a father who's taking his kids to the odd sporting event, I'm going to go with you stay the whole game,
okay,
and you make them get up in the morning and suffer the consequences. Like, this is a life lesson, right? It might be a crappy day tomorrow.
Yeah.
You might be a little cranky, but this is what happens. You want to do something fun. Sometimes you got to pay a little bit, whether it's fatigue, an extra nap, whatever it might be, but that's the price we pay for having a little bit of fun. And that's a life lesson that can stay with him all through his whole life. So I would say if it's not a good game, you can blow out of there early. But if it's a good game, hang in there and then just, deal with it tomorrow, because that's what we do when we grow up.
Man, I don't mind that, right? Teach him responsibility and consequences. I like that. That's good advice, man. I appreciate it. We'll see how it goes over, and if it doesn't work, I'll be all over you next week, okay?
Yeah. Don't call me when he's having a meltdown at about 1 p.m.
Thanks for nothing, Mike. You're awful.
Bad dad.
See you later, man.
All right.
There you go. That's Mike Johnson, NHL analyst. It makes a good point, right? If you want to, what's the saying? If you want to stay up late and party with the boys,
hell with the big dog.
You got to get up with the rest of the men in the morning, right? That's the saying.
Maybe people will be giving you free advice coming up here.
Yeah,
later.
I mean, that's a good
nice
point
for all the fathers, maybe experienced a little more veteran out there, sharing knowledge for you.
Yeah, well, you share your advice with me on this. Do I keep my kid at the game the whole night, or do we come home early? Let me know, and then I will help you. Free advice right now. What do you need help with? Fantasy football, fantasy hockey, or life advice? You got to hammer this James H. Brown inbox right now. We need your questions immediately. So send them to us at 10-12-60. We're going to get to that coming up here just after 7:25 this morning. Jabari Greer is on the way. Talk some NFL around 7:45 today. We've got some soccer tickets we're going to give away. There's lots to get to. Lots to get to on the show today. Keep those coming in at 10-12-60. What do you need help with? How can we help you? 10-12-60. We'll give you those answers for free coming up next.
Weather brought to you by Josh Clausen, CTV News Edmonton. A clear start to the day. We can expect a few clouds in the afternoon with a high of 7 degrees. Overnight, low -3 with mainly clear skies. And for Thursday, mainly sunny and a high of 8. -4 and a few clouds at 7:18. Weather and traffic from James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. When accidents happen, go to jameshbrown.com. Here's Pauline Higgins with a look at your traffic.
There's a collision on the East Henday in the northbound lanes north of Sherwood Park Freeway that has all of the northbound lanes blocked right now. Traffic is still getting through, though, on the left shoulder, so you need to stay over to the far left to get through here and definitely expect delays. We are seeing things backing up to about Highway 14 right now. There's also a collision on Highway 60 in those southbound lanes south of Highway 16A. We are seeing emergency crews on scene here and delays in the area, and you can expect delays north of the downtown. 101st Street remains closed at 106th Avenue following an overnight fire. Tonight's Lotto 649 draw is an estimated $10 million, plus the guaranteed $1 million prize. $10 million? Get that Lotto 649 feeling. I'll have your next update in minutes. This is Pauline Higgins with your TSN 1260 traffic.
TSN 1260 Sports Center update starts now.
This is struck well to deep center field. Sprinting back is Siri, spins around. That one is gone. And right on cue, Freddie Freeman with his 5th home run this postseason. And the Braves now lead it 7-0.
The Atlanta Braves winning their first World Series championship since '95, hammering the Astros in Game 6, 7-0. For the Braves, it's the 4th title in franchise history. Busy night in the NHL. Mark Scheifele scored the shootout winner. Jets 4-3 over the Stars. The Toronto Maple Leafs blanking the Golden Knights. A banged-up Golden Knights squad. 4-0 your final there. Habs shutting out Detroit 3-0. Canucks over the Rangers 3-2 in overtime. Senators falling in overtime 5-4 to the Wild. And the Flames also losing in overtime 3-2 through the Nashville Predators. Preds are up here tonight to battle the Oilers from Ice District. The Don Wheaton and White pregame show with Tom Gazzola starts at 5:30 here on TSN 1260. And the Las Vegas Raiders have released receiver Henry Ruggs III just hours before his court appearance today on felony charges. After a pre-dawn vehicle crash yesterday left a woman dead, Ruggs showed signs of impairment, according to a police statement. This winter, give a gift that will truly spark the romance. New tires from tiresforcost.ca. They really do say, I love you, tiresforcost.ca. I'm Lieutenant Eric. You're up to date.
7:26. It is the Nielsen Show. Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric with you. You can text us anytime at 10-12-60. I did fire up a poll question today when we came in. The question was this. There was a double Mars bar placed right in front of my microphone when I came in to do the show today. Do I eat it? 84.1% of the vote says yes, it's delicious. 15.9% of the vote says no, it's too random. One guy replied and said, how did it taste? Let me tell you, it was good. Yeah, just kidding. It's still sitting over here. I just don't know. Was I gifted a Mars bar by somebody? Is it for somebody else? Is there something wrong with it? I don't know.
Well, maybe it's a trap, right?
Somebody suggested I should have my parents check it first. The wrapper does seem to be complete. Like there's
but you poke a little hole. Like is it airtight?
Still smells airtight, and it actually feels like it's melting a little bit.
I don't know,
too.
man.
Like, the last thing I want to do is completely waste this.
But those double ones, they freak me out. I said that earlier. I don't know. There's something. Just give me the standard size.
All right, I want to get to. We're gonna get to some free advice. So if you do need help with anything, hit us up in the inbox at 10-12-60. We'll get to that in a second. I got a text message yesterday from Jack Cookson over at Pro-Am Sports, and the AM Nasty repping again. He sent me a picture. They're doing a Mark Messier signing right now.
Oh boy!
And he sent me somebody has requested that Mark Messier sign one of his items. It's me, Mess, the Moose. And Messier will do it. Hell, we got Pugliarvi to sign Gregor's Bane. The actual stick has been signed by him, and we got him to do all those autographed #Gregor's Bane. So they're all good sports when they roll into the guys at Pro-Am. But I absolutely love the fact, like, that's not random. That is a member of the AM Nasty who is going to have Mark Messier sign a photo. In fact, you might even be listening right now. It's me, Mess. I absolutely love that. Love it. And look, I mean, this guy's doing it. You can do it as well, I guess. Just hop online at proamsports.ca, pick out whichever Messier piece you want to get autographed, and have him say, I put, Connor, it's me, Mess, the Moose.
Yeah, really get the OG.
Somebody should do that. Yeah. Like, that would be incredible.
And he's a good sport. He's all for it, too. It's all good.
A huge shout out to the Nasty. That's awesome. Let's hammer them with awesome Moose requests. I think that would be great. All right, let's
crack a pack. Oh,
well, this text says, does that double Mars bar belong to Hernet? Was there something on Low Tide Show yesterday? That's the only thing I can think of.
But he doesn't go in that room. He's in here. I know what he leaves behind. He usually leaves me McDonald's Monopoly pieces. Like we have a system back here where we leave food. Like I would rule him out, but I mean, stranger things I guess have happened.
It's eyeing me up.
It could be a trap.
All right, let's dive into advice. What do you need help with? Hit us up in the inbox at 10-12-60, the James H. Brown inbox, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Lieutenant Eric, let's do this. I'm ready to, although you know what?
Okay.
I can't find my water bottle.
A nice nibble on a Mars bar might suffice, hey? Like just a...
Maybe my water, here it is. I thought my water bottle turned into the Mars bar.
Somebody took it straight up for an exchange?
There we go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You got to empty that water. You got some fresh stuff.
I know. This is yesterday's water. It's gross.
Nasty. Is Patterson and D. Harris too much to give up for Metcalf?
Look, if you're going to move both of those running backs, I'm assuming you have two other very good running backs. And if you've got two other very good running backs, then yeah, I'd give that up for Metcalf. But just straight up, as they say, in a vacuum, I think that might be just a tad too much. Next.
Hey, boys, recently signed a contract here. Which neighborhood should I move into? Thanks, Nick A.
Interesting. Well, I like my area. You like your neighborhood too.
I really do. Yeah.
Yeah, we both like our neighborhoods. But, I say west of the Henday. Nah, you know what? You got to live close to the stadium. I'm assuming Nick A would be
I don't know.
Maybe
He
Nick
didn't go
Hartman. Maybe
on
it's somebody else who randomly signed a contract here and
Get back to us, Nick.
goes by the handle Nick A. But I say, nah. Sign in the West, and we can be buddies. Next,
It's all going down in the West. Eh?
I'm desperately looking for friendship.
Hollywood Brown or Claypool?
Let's go Brown, coming off a bye. Next,
Boys, my first year Kraken and my longtime girlfriend is absolutely rattled by how much I'm into it. Oh, I get what they did here. Does this feeling eventually go away?
your urge to crack or the girlfriend's hatred of it. I'm kind of.
Are we talking about the team or the cards? Like
oh yeah, it does say Kraken. Yeah, Seattle Kraken. Oh, it was a play on words because of. Oh, that's hilarious.
Tricksters.
Look, for me, card collecting comes in waves. Like something new will come out, I'll be all in, and then it cools off for a little bit. So, you'll probably experience the same sort of thing. But on top of that, I mean, so will she. I mean, some days she'll be fired up about it, other days she won't really care. So, I wouldn't panic about the situation. Next.
Question, MBT or Caleros? Or put in McGuire, who may have a chance to jam a couple of tutties in from the 1 yard line. Thanks.
Oh, man.
The old Macbeth question.
This is a tough one because let's say the Bombers are up by 20 in the third quarter.
No.
You probably give McGuire some reps, let Caleros sit.
They're at home. The likelihood of that happening is pretty.
I think I'd probably start McLeod Bethel Thompson. I honestly think I would because the other two guys, I mean, there's a possible split coming there, and I don't like it.
Argo's playing against something. Red Black's all but out. That's kind of the matchup there.
I think I'd go MBT. Next.
Nielsen, is Robbie Anderson dead?
You know what? He's dead to me.
Yeah.
He's dead to me. This guy, and you know who else he's dead to? Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold does not even know Robbie Anderson exists.
In that brief moment earlier in the season.
One small moment. But yeah, Robbie Anderson. I mean, I'm not even sure that dude still gets on the field for the Carolina Panthers. So that's frustrating. Next.
Guys, I started going to Tim's to get packs to crack, but now I'm addicted to the breakfast wrap. Uh-oh. Any advice on how to kick this addiction?
To be honest with you, I don't have advice on that. It's a damn delicious wrap.
Yeah,
what can I say? I mean, maybe get it without like the hash brown and get it without the sauce. Then you'll feel better about yourself.
You tried that steak sandwich yet? Every morning
I
go
that
through.
Little craveable?
Yeah, every morning I roll through. I might. I'm gonna bite on that one of these days. I just know it.
I think next on my to try list is what we talked about late in the show yesterday, and that's that Arby's beef dip that has the poutine right inside the sandwich.
Yeah.
You didn't get one yesterday, did you?
No, just a couple
I don't think I'm gonna like it, but I feel like I have to try it at least. If a place is gonna be so bold to put poutine on a beef dip, then I feel like they deserve to have me at least give it a go. You know?
Yeah, just once.
So I mean, no, I don't know how you kick the breakfast wrap addiction. Next,
boys, I hear you guys talk about Twitter all the time, but I don't have an account. Should I sign up?
And to be honest with you, it completely depends on the type of person you are.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting by right now without Twitter, there's really no reason to dive into it.
You lucky SOB.
I fought signing up Twitter so hard in Fort Mac. My radio boss at the time up there was like telling me and my co-host, he's like, "You guys have to get on Twitter.
I made a point.
It's the next big thing." And I looked at him and I said, "Listen, dude, I'm not signing up for your Twitter. I am a rock morning show host, and I will not give in to the man." And then I move here, and I sign up, and now I'm a slave to Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it is. You are a slave.
Yeah. It sucks. But if you put it on dark mode, it's a lot easier on your eyes.
That's true. Yeah.
I've been living in dark mode for about 4 weeks, and I'm never going back. It took a while to get used to it, but I like it a lot. Next.
Nielsen, would you trade Darrell Henderson and Cortland Sutton for Nick Chubb?
If I was deep-ish at the wide receiver position, yeah, I'd pull the trigger on that bad boy. But Henderson, I mean, there's some touchdown upside there certainly in that Rams offense. But Jerry Jeudy's back. That might take away a little bit of Sutton's value. So yeah, I'd probably pull the trigger. Next.
I've been telling my girlfriend that we can't hang out because I'm working, but I'm really just addicted to a new video game I'm playing. Does this mean I don't love her?
Yeah, pretty much. And you clearly don't love her.
Well, your power rankings of love might not have her at the top.
You could still date her. and maybe there is love in the future. But at this time, I mean, and I get it. I know where you're coming from. You want to play that video game more than being with your girl. So I don't think that necessarily means that you don't love her, but everybody needs their own time. Everybody needs their space. Everybody needs to play video games every once in a while. Next.
Nielsen, should I start Michael Carter or Cordell Patterson this week?
Patterson, next.
Hey, fellas, Derek Carr, take a chance on Michael White. Ooh.
No. You
First Michael White advice text here.
You can't chase that Mike White game again.
Ooh,
Like, you
so
just
tempting.
can't do it again.
So tempting.
Go with Derek Carr. He's a steady Eddie, 2 touchdowns, 275 yards. You can't do that again. White's going to be in the spotlight Thursday night football, Jets and Colts. I mean, will he outplay Carson Wentz? Probably. But I don't think you can chase another Mike White game. Dusty, a few months ago, I pulled a Laffy Young Gun canvas. Should I sell it? Probably should have sold it a few months ago. A poutine beef dip. That sounds like a morning show breakfast sandwich. It really, I mean, it's not far off.
I just can't even wrap my mind around it, really. You describe it. I need to kind of hold it in my hands, to...
If we could pull it off, I'd like to purchase a couple and bring them in and heat them up and try them. But that's just not the way to do it.
No, you can't reheat it.
If
No,
anybody runs or owns an Arby's and you'd like to drop off some freshly made poutine dips in the morning, we'll definitely try it. Guys, don't sign up for Twitter. Sign up for Facebook instead. It comes with a free medical degree and expertise in vaccines. Ooh.
Wow.
John. A little spicy today, are we? All right, coming up, Jabari Greer is going to pop by. Patrick Mahomes. Why does he suck now? We're going to get into that coming up before 8 o'clock. Just after 8 o'clock, 3 questions too many. Kind of easy trivia to dive into the AM Nasty Tickle Trunk. You can be just like Menopause Nick, who won a copy of Mamma Mia yesterday, right here with the Nielsen Show.
Weather brought to you by Josh Clausen, CTV News Edmonton. A mix of sun and cloud for today with a high 7 this afternoon. Mainly clear overnight, low -3. For Thursday, mainly sunny and a high of 8. Could get some precipitation come Friday. A few clouds and -6 at 7:38. Weather and traffic for Helford's. The ultimate do-it-yourself store is so many things for so many people. Discover the over 6,000 products in-store and online at helfords.ca. With a look at your traffic, here's Pauline Higgins.
There's currently 2 collisions on the East Henday around the Sherwood Park Freeway that are causing some real delays. If you're headed northbound on the East Henday, you need to stay right as you approach Sherwood Park Freeway. There is a collision in the left lane. After you pass that collision, they'll get over to the far left as traffic is only getting through on the left shoulder north of the Sherwood Park Freeway. We're also dealing with a collision on Highway 60 south of Highway 16A. Northbound and southbound traffic is alternating here south of 16A, so just expect delays. Savers know the only thing sweeter than a good deal is a good deal on quality products. That's why Savers love shopping at Save On Foods. Save on, Savers. I'll have your next update in minutes. This is Pauline Higgins with your TSN 1260 traffic.
TSN 1260 Sports Center update starts now.
And a chance to end it. Shifley. 9 for 20. Holtby stands his ground. Shifley scores! Mark Shifley in the shootout. Jets win.
Jets in the shootout, winning it over the Stars 4-3. Mark Shifley, you heard there, scoring the winner. Elsewhere last night, Maple Leafs shutting out Vegas 4-0. Montreal 3-0 over Detroit. JT Miller scoring in overtime. Canucks 3-2 over the Rangers. Senators falling 5-4 in overtime to the Wild, and the Flames also losing in overtime 3-2 to the Nashville Predators. Preds and Oilers tonight from Ice District. Tom Gazzola will have your Don Wheaton and White pregame show beginning at 5:30 right here on TSN 1260. The Atlanta Braves winning their first World Series championship since '95. They hammer the Astros in Game 6 by a score of 7-0. It's the 4th title for the franchise. And the Las Vegas Raiders have released receiver Henry Ruggs just hours before his court appearance today on felony charges following a fiery pre-dawn vehicle crash yesterday that left a woman dead. Ruggs showed signs of impairment, according to a police statement. We'll have more on that and all the storylines from the NFL coming up next as Jabari Greer joins Dustin Nielsen. This SportsCenter update for Sandler Sales Training. Work smarter, sell more, and sell more easily. Google Sandler Training today. Here's your Sandler Sales Meeting Minute with tips and advice for your sales team. I'm Lieutenant Eric. You're up to date.
Good morning, game day. Oilers and the Predators tonight at 6:30. Weather-wise, we're looking for a high of 7 degrees for today, -6 in the Edmonton area right now. We need your questions for 3 questions too many. You can submit those. Sports, non-sports, does not matter. We'll answer anything. Submit them to the James H. Brown inbox at 10-12-60. We'll play a little kind of easy trivia just after 8 o'clock. We've got some soccer tickets we're going to give away just after 8 o'clock. We've got Ryan Rashog on the way. He's going to be by around 8:30 this morning, and we're about an hour away from Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings of power. So that is all on the way. Jam-packed hour number 3 to wrap up hour number 2. We've got Super Bowl champion Jabari Greer, NFL analyst for TSN. And you know what? We were asked yesterday during 3 Questions Too Many, a question from one of you, our wonderful listeners, that said, hey, guys, who's the best team in the National Football League? And I think it's good news for the league that I don't know if there's a team that really jumps off the page, but maybe let's start there with Jabari Greer. Jabari, welcome back to the show. Happy Wednesday, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You got a clear-cut answer to that question? Who do you think's the best team in the league right now?
No, I think that's what's been one of the best things about this NFL season is that everything seems really competitive.
Yeah.
You got the AFC West being really competitive. You got the Dallas Cowboys being good again. Some competition in NFC South as well, and also in AFC North. So, there's so many teams there in the top tier that look really good. Obviously Arizona took that first loss, but they lost to a great team in the Green Bay Packers. Tampa Bay is still a great team, even though they lost that nail bite to the New Orleans Saints. The Rams look like they're getting better now that they have Von Miller. So. This is one of the more competitive seasons in the NFL that I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, and it's great because it's not wide open because there's no good teams. It's wide open because there's a lot of good teams in the league this year, which is very exciting. One of the teams that, at the beginning of the season we would have 100% had in that conversation we just did is the Kansas City Chiefs, and now they're squeaking out wins at home in prime time against Daniel Jones and a banged-up New York Giants offense. Is it like it's? I don't even want to say this because it sounds so silly. But have defenses figured out Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City offense, or what else is going on there?
Well, there's a couple things that are going on. One thing that the defenses are rushing to Patrick Mahomes' right hand, which is something that they haven't done before. And also, the Kansas City defense is looking horrible. So it's coupled, and plus, when you look at the receivers, a lot of them have been dropping a lot of balls late. So it's been coupled with a lot of things, not just Patrick Mahomes' performance, but also a lot of his surrounding characters as well.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, you look at some of the guys there who aren't able to make a play for that group right now. Now, do you see a second half resurgence from that group? Are we sitting here in week 16 saying, "Wow, the Chiefs really got back on track," or do you think it's going to be this up and down slide for them the entire year?
Well, you know what? I think that the reason why we're not willing to we're not willing to write them off is because they have Patrick Mahomes. And this dude has showed us that he's willing to be a competitor. And, when you have a guy like that, you don't easily write him off. So if they do get back, it's going to be because Patrick Mahomes rises to the occasion and becomes a player that we all know that he can be. Other than that, if he doesn't, then they won't. There's no way.
You mentioned the Saints, and they found a way to beat the Bucs. They lose Jameis Winston in that game. Taysom Hill has been out, but he's on the verge of returning. Can the Saints continue to do what they've been doing so far this season? And not like Jameis was lighting the world on fire. It's not really the reason they're winning games, but obviously a different style of quarterback if Taysom Hill is, in fact, the guy moving forward here. We saw Simeon finish the job and get that win against Tampa Bay. But how much does that change things with the Saints, and how much could that possibly slow them down a little bit?
Well, it definitely changes how they do their offense. But one thing that I think is great about a team like the New Orleans Saints, about a team like the Baltimore Ravens, and also the Los Angeles Rams is that their offensive play calling is so multiple, so dynamic that they find a way to detail their system around the players that are available on that day. And so we see that when they have Jameis being quarterback, they tailor the offense to Jameis' strength. When Taysom's the quarterback, they tailor the offense to Taysom's strength. So whoever they're going to have to be, whoever the quarterback's going to be, whoever they're going to have on the field, they're going to place plays at the position. They're going to place plays out there that are able to showcase the strength of the players that are playing. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, but you got it, so that's okay. Jabari Greer, Super Bowl champion, with us on the show this morning as we set up another week of action in the National Football League. You get the Jets and the Colts here on the Thursday nighter. That last game against Tennessee, the Colts started so well. They're up 14, and everybody, I think we all kind of just thought, just wait for Carson Wentz to make a mistake, and he made a couple of them along the way, and the Titans end up winning that game in overtime. So let's quickly hit on that one, and then we'll get to the Titans without Derrick Henry. But Carson Wentz versus Mike White on Thursday nighter. Do you like the Colts or the Jets this week?
Well, I mean, the Jets are coming off of a really, an incredible win. So they're going to have that emotional high. I'm not sure that they're going to have the fortitude to be, not the fortitude, but, they're not really used to winning.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of veteran leadership to be able to come off of that high and keep it going. Carson Wentz is, he's a veteran, and he understands what it's like to come off of a tough running game. Pittman is playing lights out, so I think that Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts gets it done.
All right, and lastly, let's go to Derrick Henry and the Titans. They lose the most important running back in the National Football League. The guy was running away with a rushing title once again. I know anytime we bring him up in the MVP conversation, a lot of people go, you can't compare him to quarterbacks, but how important or how much, what do you expect from the Titans without him? Are they going to completely fall apart? I'm not expecting anybody to step in, whether it be Adrian Peterson or McNichols or whoever. Nobody's going to be Derrick Henry. So how much do they have to change things to continue to have the high level of success that they've recently had here in the league this season?
Well, yeah, man, they're going to have to change things and really put a lot more pressure, a lot more responsibility on Ryan Tannehill's shoulders, and we're going to see if he earns all that money that they're paying. That being said, I would love to see Adrian Peterson have a resurgence in Tennessee, year 15, smacking them down. I mean, how good a story is that? I mean, this guy, he's been one of the best running backs in the NFL for a very long time, so I would like to see that. But they're going to have to distribute the ball. Julio Jones, A.J. Brown's going to be a much bigger part of this offense. So Ryan Tannehill and the strategically run the ball. They're not going to be as post the running game as they were before. A good offensive coordinator is going to make his money with this new opportunity they have.
Jabari, as always, man, appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
All right, have a good one.
It's Jabari Greer, NFL analyst. Michael Thomas just announced he's out for the season. So if you'd taken Michael Thomas later in drafts, hoping that he'd come back in the second half like he was projected to be as far as the return date goes, Michael Thomas is out for the season. He will not be returning this year, continuing to have lower body issues, and the end of the season for him. I'm trying to think if I have him stashed in any leagues.
Oh, come on. You got to have one, hey?
I think I've got him in a few best ball drafts that I did early in the fantasy football draft season. But I did manage to trade him in a few of my keeper leagues and be like, you going to get the second half value.
But you can't get a used car.
Well,
I'm
working on it. More on that, I guess, when we come back. We've got some soccer tickets we're going to give away. We've got Ryan Rashog. He's going to be by. Lieutenant Eric's weekly rankings and power. Phone lines are open now, though. Let's kick off the hour right with a trip inside the AM Nasty Tickle Trunk. You could win 2 firm handshakes, a guest spot on Scalding Hot Takes, $100 cash. That's sitting around in there. Or one of my previously viewed DVDs. We've got all of that on the way. If you want to play, 780-444-1260, 780-444-1260. Yesterday, Menopause Nick won a Mamma Mia DVD autographed by Renee. It just doesn't get any nastier than that.
You won't find that anywhere else. Anywhere else.
Your chance to play right now, 780-444-1260. If you have any questions for 3 questions too many, submit them to us right now at 10-1260, and we'll give you those answers just after 8 o'clock.
Weather brought to you by Josh Clausen, CTV News Edmonton. Partly sunny into the afternoon with a high 7 degrees. Mainly clear overnight, low -3. For Thursday, mainly sunny with a high 8. And there could be some showers in the forecast for Friday. A few clouds and -6 at 7:57. With a look at your traffic, here's Pauline Higgins.